Hey, Dr. G. So my population is softball, obviously, and for the purposes of this assignment and for visualization, I'm going to go through hitting. As you know, softball is a game full of movements and small skills that have to be mastered to be successful. For the purpose of this assignment, I'm going to work on hitting just because I think it's the most difficult aspect of softball. You have to be able to time perfectly each and every step that you take, so that means the center of your barrel touching the center of the ball at the exact time to put it at the right place in the field and get on base. It's very difficult, and the ball can be moving sometimes 55 to 70 miles an hour with extreme movement, extreme break, left, right, up, down, you name it. Like, it happens, and so that's why I'm doing softball and I'm doing hitting. So I'd start with the physical nature of the movement. So that means like everything physical that's about the athlete at that moment in time. So for hitting, I would want the girl to focus on what is she wearing at that point. So if it's in a game, you're wearing your jersey. Can you feel the buttons on your chest? Can you feel the stitching on your shoulders? Can you feel the neckline? Are you wearing sleeves? What does that feel like? I wear an elbow sleeve. Do you? What does that feel like? Do you have signs on your arm like my team does? What does that feel like? Do you have a belt? Do you have tight pants? Do you have loose pants? Do you have long pants? Do you have short pants? I wear a knee brace and I can feel both hinges at each side, the straps on the top and the bottom. Do you wear a brace? Can you feel it? Do you have tape? Can you feel that? Stirrups, long socks, spikes, plastic cleats, whatever you feel, whatever you can feel with your eyes closed is what you would want to imagine in that moment. And then also take it as far as like your bat. So with me, like I swing a 34 inch bat with a 25 ounces, and I also have a thicker, softer, squishier grip on my bat than other people do. And so when I'm holding my bat, I can feel the squishy grip, I can feel the softness, I can feel the seams of it, I can feel where it's worn down more so where I've held it a little bit tighter than other places on my grip. I can feel all of that. I can feel the weight evenly loaded in my bat. And I would ask them, what do they feel? Like, how heavy is their bat? Can they feel it? Like, is it end loaded? Is it evenly loaded? Like, all of those questions come into play for the physical nature of the movement. And then you would move into the specifics of the environment. So for the purpose of this, ideally the subject would be in the most realistic environment possible. So for hitting in a game purpose, I would want her in the box, whether she's right-handed or left-handed, whatever the case may be. Go to the box and be within the lines and phase the way you normally would, so you can have it ideal. And then also so they can feel it, they can smell it, they can feel a breeze, or they can smell the grass, or they can smell the wet dirt, or they can smell the dirt under their spikes, whatever the case may be. Like, just be in the most ideal environment possible so that it's all as realistic as it can possibly be. Then the type of task. So for this, there's a few things you can focus on. You can focus on the adjustments or the tasks that you are trying to complete, or you can focus on your routine. So for me, personally, I know I like to focus on my routine. I'm very routined. I like things to be the same every single time, and it just gives me a sense of sanity. It gives me a sense of relaxation, and that's what I would want to do, whereas other people sometimes aren't. Like, I know some of my teammates like to focus on timing. Whatever that may be, I would instruct them to do so. So for me, like, I would focus on, when I get into the box, I'm left-handed, so I step in with my left leg first, and then I slap my leg, I touch the back corner of the plate with my bat in my right hand, I point out to first base, or I point out to the pitcher, I bring my bat up, take a deep breath, and I'm ready to go. And I step with my right foot in the box, and I'm ready to go. Like, it's game time, it's grind time, like, this is my time to shine, like, I'm locked and ready, right? And so I would just encourage them to do that, find their place that gets them locked and ready, or find their place that allows them to focus on the adjustments and the movements and the tasks that they have to complete. And then the timing of the movement. It is crucial for a game time situation that you do your visualization in a game time speed. So, like, for me, visualizing the pitcher going through her movement in a game time speed, and then seeing something come at me 65, 70 miles an hour, and then visualize myself going through the box, slapping and hitting it at that point in time. Or for someone who's right-handed, hitting the ball game speed and swinging it back game speed, whatever the outcome may be, but seeing it all game speed. It should not be slowed down, and it should not take longer than it does generally in a game, because that's what you're trying to simulate, visualizing it. And then learning the content of the movement. So the goal is to ultimately get the imagery to effectively and realistically replicate real life hitting in a game situation, right? So for me, that would mean every aspect of my game, including my strength, my body mass, my speed, that my skill level, that point in time for me. Where am I? Am I in college? Am I in high school? Am I a pro softball player? Like, what am I? Everything is like taken into play in that point in time. Because it is always changing and it is never stagnant. So when you are visualizing, you want to visualize yourself in the exact moment, in the exact like frame you're in at that point in your life, just so it's as realistic as possible. The emotion. So it's very, very hard to play softball relaxed, and any other sport for that matter. So a lot of athletes are driven by their emotion or their drive, and so that is the goal, is to replicate that in your visualization. So that means if you're hyped, you want to be hyped in your visualization. If you're tense, you want to be a little more tense. Whatever you're internally feeling, you want to try to express that in your visualization so it's as realistic as possible. Because if you're going to go out there and visualize yourself being completely relaxed and then you're not an actually relaxed person when you go out to hit, then it's not realistic and it's not going to work for you. And then the perspective of the person, internal or external. So with internal, it's if you're seeing it from your own two eyes and you're experiencing it within your body. Externally, it's as if you're watching yourself on film and you're seeing yourself from another person's point of view. For sports that are more technique-based, external is more recommended, but for games like softball and soccer and football and all that stuff, it's more internal based, and so it is recommended that you see it from your own two eyes. So like when you're hitting, you see the field, you don't see your body, you see the people in front of you, you don't see your back, like more so that. So yeah, that's what I would recommend if I was walking someone through visualization.